something that I wasn't aware of. I was aware of this technology, but this is the first I've heard of it used. I did talk a bit about this documentary that's coming out, but this one, Anthony Bourdain doc, used deepfake technology. Filmmaker Morgan Neville used AI technology to recreate Anthony Bourdain's voice for some lines in Roadrunner, a film about Anthony Bourdain. I'm still looking forward to watching this documentary. I'd be curious to know what he said, because that would be important. But his voice is, iconic. That's him narrating his shows, and just his writing and his voice combined are amazing. So without his writing, his voice, it'd be interesting. I'd be interested to know what he did. I'm not a fan of this happening, but big studios, this is the beginning of what is going to be commonplace. There's going to be 100% fake audio, video of everything. And it's going to be so hard to distinguish that, it's going to be, propaganda is going to be released to the world in ways in which will be very effective. Like, exponentially more effective than the propaganda that is currently being effectively used. Like, being able to recreate somebody saying and watching, you'd be able to watch a press conference that's completely artificially generated of an image and a voice of somebody that, you could actually do a press conference with Trump that actually makes him sound smart. That's the technology that we're using. We can actually make it so he doesn't sound like a delusional idiot all of the time, and put which, that's how you'll know. That's how you'll know. Joe Biden doesn't stumble over his words because he has a stuttering speech impediment, he just flows, he just spews things like Obama. It's oh, that's when you know. When you see the change. But you have to see the change because it'll be subtle. It'll be a subtle change because they'll be good, but they won't be perfect. Just like when you see AI in movies, you see an animal that looks almost like a real animal, but when it moves, you can kind of tell that it's CG. It's just not moving right. You do that. You see that with rubber people all the time in movies, where it's clearly they're jumping around, they're doing parkour that never could have been done, and it's just they feel weightless in those moments and feel not real. That's what we're gonna be like. So I don't know. The deciding factor on how angry I would be at this piece of news would 100% depend on what he said in the documentary, but it's something that's going to happen. You're going to see this instead of movies using ADR. They're just going to use this. Just like the movie Space Jam, which I talked about on Monday. Movie studios are going to digitally scan all of their actors. They're going to have digital scans and voice libraries for every actor that they have a contract with, that they're going to be able to get life. I guarantee you there's going to be a generation of actors that are going to be screwed over in epic ways by movie studios who are scanning them. They're going to scan them, get their thing. They're going to sign their life away not knowing. And then probably in another 50 years, there's going to be issues where your digital life assets are going to be contractually signed to different companies for a limited time. Kind of like actors are now. They're hired for certain jobs. You can hire the actor, or you can pay for their digital assets to use in your movie, which is going to be interesting in a lot of ways, but suck in the fact that instead of hiring different people to act in things, there's just going to be a small group of actors that are going to be in everything, which that's a bummer. Like every movie is just going to be The Rock and like Jason Statham and Charlize. It's just going to be the stars from Fast and the Furious and the stars from Marvel's universe and the star, like it's just going to be 100 different actors that are going to be in 90% of the films, and then you're going to have little low budget indie films that don't get distribution because none of the companies want to compete with real actors. It's going to be an interesting time. I think this is more of a sign of what's to come than it is a big travesty. I mean, I think it's going to be a slippery slope. Things are not going to go well, but it is what it is, and you're just going to have to be aware of it. And, if you don't like it, don't support it. Don't go see the documentary. I'd be curious to know what he said first. And maybe the article, maybe I just didn't read into the article enough.